very into it and just read them. House spider, my protection. A bug-eyed shadow stared at me at the foot of my bed yesterday. I was just trying to sleep. A whisper of who will protect any house. When a spider made a home in the ceiling corner above my head, I thought, the soul should be safe next to the silk. But the fear is woven from lifetimes ago. And people are superstitious that we all carry poison. So the vacuum walls, the cavity, the alcoves, any places we can't reach without a weapon. And the shadow. Sweet angel. Even Mary cried out she saw a monster. Open all 8 alleys. My mother fashioned some spinnerets, a well that traps craving spirit. A hole so holy God seeking salt for salt and you for you. Pockets are empty. Time holds to taste temperance, a vacuum with impatience. So hungry is death, so normal is suffering. When demons visit, be unafraid. Kiss their lips, send them on their way. The next one is titled, very short, it's titled A Conversation with the Tree Outside My Window. And it's dialogue. The sky is crying too. Yeah, it is. You are like the sky. Okay. And then my final poem is titled When the Light Reaches the Darkness, Pluto, a Miracle. In March, it rained. Early spring and then daffodil fold washed out of the earth after being dislocated. I prayed to God for the first time in a long time, and planned every day for a month. I watered and cried and sat and prayed. Every day for a month, it stayed brown and slimy and rotted and gone. Oh, darling, the dead don't come back. See, no one cares if you water and cry and sit and pray. It doesn't change anything for the better anyway. Truthfully, did I want to bring the flower back for me or for it? What miracle was I chasing to give me hope so I could sit? I could have planted a whole garden in that time, soil clodded and actionable. I gathered my tools and my seeds and my body and asked for help. My mother and I tended a corner that was usually forgotten. There will always be space for things to grow, she said. And the sprouts budded out of the dirt that was mixed with sweat and spit. In April, the wisteria grew, the first time in 7 years. Yeah.
Thank you, Liana. I'm going to, hopefully you can see us. I can see. Good. So, would somebody like to ask Liana any questions or make some comments about the tree, the spider, the bulb? How many of you have planted bulbs? I'm asking people, have you planted a seed of a tree before? Only Suma? Only one person? Okay, we have a couple. Okay, Donna Engelbert, please say they have. Okay, Nota and Amber have planted seeds. Good to get some. What about planting a bulb and waiting for it? Life is not always what we expect. And do you know how I met Liana? Liana and I and a few other dear souls had planned to fly from New York City to Berlin. And 3 hours into our journey on United Airlines, the pilot said, "I'm very sorry, but we're going to turn around and fly back to New York City because we have a warning light." So they didn't want to land in Iceland because they probably had their repairs in New York City. So 26 hours later, on a new plane, this Liana and I and a few hundred other people got to Berlin for Liana's new life in Berlin, right? How's it going, Liana? Do you want to explain?
It's great.
She's a freelance artist, but you make video and you need to send the links for us, yeah? Is it released yet?
Not yet, not yet. I'm going to have a short film out in May. We'll be sending it to festivals.
Great. Anyone have any questions or comments? Reflections? You might have inspired people also. I told them they need to write. Yeah? After the ice-breaking game, they're meant to be ice-broken, but they're still icy. Right? Any comments? I'm going, by the way, I think in response to you, my only suitable response is to read you a poem I wrote to my cat. So I'm going to do that in my book. So this is I'll share the screen. This is from my book, which I'm often talking about, and some parts are ready, but I read you my poem to my cat. Okay? And then Zeynep will. I think this is the only appropriate response. This is a poem actually from my cat to me. My dear Darryl, please let me come to school with you. Every day we are together and I miss you. So many nice boys and girls stroke me. Do I just need to wait in my garden under the branches of our wisteria and our cherry tree? Those fallen petals adorn my white fur. I smile to the joyful sounds of children when it is playtime across the road under the crabapple trees in the school. Thank the big cat in the sky that you came back early today and we can play. She will always take care of us on our journey. Thank you for bringing your new friend home to play for a while. Oh dear, today you fell over in the school field and grazed your knee. Let me sit on your lap and you will soon forget the pain, and your tears will become laughter as my Perrine soothes you. You have some homework to do, so let me help you. I can sit on your desk, or I can get in the way. If I get in the way, let me cuddle up to your lap as you study. So many winters have passed, and now we still lie together on the bed in the sun terrace in the spring days while you cram for your university entrance exams. Don't you remember you rode me on your tricycle? You played cricket and soccer with me on the backyard. You tied the ribbons of merit to me while I patiently thought, what a blissful life we have every day. We tried so hard for me to hide under the covers to sleep the whole night, but somehow Mum and Dad found a moving lump under our covers. If only I was not so well fed, I could better hide from those birds on the backyard lawn as I tried to sneak out through the house. Love is a time spent together, all my life with you, my dear Darrell. I gave you my heart and my life. Don't cry, my dear. For the last time we spent together, you drove me in the car to see my doctor. It was not on your tricycle. You gave me a hug and carried me. Since I did not need a cage, I was 19 years old and somehow my jaw was broken. I could not eat. That last playtime on the carpet in the lounge, just before we got into the car, we looked into each other's eyes through our tears. You hoped for a cure, but my old bones were ready to rest. Thank you, my dear darling. And so that's my response, I guess, Liana, to your poem.
Thank you, Perrine.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't normally comment on poetry.
Come here, Scott.
So I was a little bit loath to speak, but I particularly liked your third poem, Matt, because it addresses in such a wonderful way the possibilities that even when things look very hopeless and bad and impossible, that something can still blossom from that things can change. And it just takes continued effort. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. I definitely, I wrote from the point of view as someone who, I have never experienced war. I have grown up in the U.S. and in France, but I do think that, especially because we have, these little computers, there's pros and cons, but we are so interconnected. I think even without this technology, we're interconnected, but we're so interconnected in a way that we've never seen before. And as we witness war and atrocities from the comfort of our own homes, I think it's very easy to just sit in the grief, and just kind of ruminate that and feel very, very hopeless. But I think that just fragments us more and more and more, because in a way it's kind of ignoring, this problem that connects us all, which is this colonial violence that affects all of us, and affects all of us, in different ways, of course, but mentally, spiritually, in every way. And sometimes, it's hard to remember that we do have the tools and the support of each other to at least do a little something, and that action goes a long way. And grief is important and demands to be felt, but it can be easy to get stuck there. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So much. Would you like come here?
No,
But the mic
it's
is
just
down.
that when she was
You talk.
reciting,
You start when you talk. Sit down.
no, I just have to apologize that when you were reciting, I was trying to catch the words, and because of the difference in accents, I delay. Yeah, it was a bit difficult. So if you could flash the poems, we can at least read it, and it was not very audible.
It's on the board, and it's on the abstract board.
So that's why we can't comment. So I think we'll read and then get back to you. I'll read and get back to you. Thank you.
So we have a chance to share, and there's also this Skype group. So, by the way, most of you are on this Skype group. If you want to be on the Skype group, you can share chat. Because of the limited Wi-Fi, if you're in the room, you don't need to be live on Skype, but you can share your comments on chat and interact and get to know each other. Liana, thank you so much. I'd like to...
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Zeynep, please, to explain your collage and, of course, introduce yourself as well.
Hi.
Hi, Zeynep.
I'm really happy to be here, excited also. I'm Zeynep Aybikem from Turkey. I'm an OBGYN resident, almost a specialist, I can say. And I'm a member of bioethics, and I'm really happy to be here. First of all, if Liana was here, thank you so much for sharing your poems. The two lines from your last poem touched my heart. I would like to share it again. Truthfully, did I want to bring the flower back for me or for it? What miracle was I chasing to give me hope so I could see? Those two lines really touched my heart because nowadays those are holy days for us since it's Ramadan and especially the last 10 days. I've been wanting so much things, asking so much, praying so much, and these two lines reminded me of my intentions. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really liked your poems, all three of them, but especially the last one. Now I would like to talk about my collage. Okay, let me open the picture of it. So, since the original one is over there, I like making intuitive collage work for 2 years, actually. First of all, before starting the process, I define my emotions and needs before starting to cut and paste all of those pieces. For this specific one, the work's name is Festivity Within. My main emotions were safety, sincerity, and peace. Actually, sometimes I make warm-ups before I start my work, like maybe singing or dancing. And before doing this, I had a dancing session warm-up. So those movements brought safety and sincerity, and it comes from the desire of festivity. So on the center, you can see a heart-shaped Tasmania map, and there's a hand holding a banner like this. The banner says, "Imagination takes flight." The left side of the map represents the outside world, and the right side of the map represents my inner self. Well, on the left side, the outside world has evil eyes and beautiful hands. At the bottom, it's a Turkish phrase, and there is my attitude towards the outer world, saying, again, it's a Turkish phrase about, she spreads joy on the outside. So both joy and imagination comes from the heart. Okay, let's see, on the right side, as I said before, displays the inner self with an ancient sculpture there is on our flowery background. And also there is a Turkish book titled There Is No Tomorrow, and it complements the inscription below, so become what you are. There is also a Turkish phrase at the right bottom corner, says, her insight, she makes your life easier on the inside. And the message of this collage ends with an old mobile phone screen saying, with love. So I believe imagination, joy, easiness rises from a peaceful heart, and this festivity leads to becoming who we really are, and it leads to a peaceful society as well as a peaceful world. So I wish peace for all of us on the inside, and I wish peace for the world. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for having this great forum workshop there.
Thank you, Zeynep. It's delightful to have you join, and also thank you so much. So I joined your family and yourself for iftar last Sunday in Istanbul. It was an honor for me, and that was wonderful. And I was telling, in fact, to Donna just here before, Donna Engelbert, last time I met them was on the Bosphorus, and so in fact on Monday, a week ago, you and I were sailing across the Bosphorus from Europe to Asia and back again, and then I came back to America. But it was a wonderful reflection, and the collage, actually Zeynep made so many, and this is one which we both thought was representative for this meeting. It's great to bring physically. Who would like to make some comments or share any reflections? Does anybody else do collage as art here? Maybe they're going to be inspired by this.
Maybe someday we'll have a collage workshop.
A collage workshop.
In person. Yeah,
In person. Would somebody like to make some comments, or what did you learn? And I think it needs, of course, the explanation because of which you're given. For the book, for example, there is no tomorrow. How do you feel? Is there a tomorrow? And also I like the balance between the evil eye and the big glance, because this balance is also representative of bioethics. Trying to think of the plus and the minus, or sometimes the doubts we have and the optimism we have, and the forces. Any reflections or comments, anyone? Sima, come here and share. Come here and share, please. So people on Skype can see you as well.
I've always listened to you online, and it was very brave because from my previous experience in education, I've been trying to work on peace, and I noticed that it is very difficult for young people to express themselves, and here you are bringing this to the top, because I think it's very important and needed, and all of us want it, but our education system has really gone haywire, where we are not touching this aspect at all. And for you to bring this, I just wish you all the best. And your collage, I love art, and I find that you, just go ahead with it, because this is what I think everybody needs everywhere. You know, this kind of art and this conversation. Thank you, Zeynep.
Thank you so much. It's great seeing you in person also. I always hear your voice. Thank you so much. I appreciate those good words. Thank you. I really love art and making art. And this is a technique I have been introduced for a brief time, like just 1 or 2 years. So I really hope to continue. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and then I'm going to share some pictures of the art on the Skype group after this as well. Would anybody else like to make any reflections or comments? Maybe everyone's thinking in their mind now of how to make art. Okay, thank you, Zeynep. Thank you for the message. It's great to see you. Thank you. So I'm going to, I will share some on my telephone while the next person is speaking. Who would like, I'd like to ask Donna, did we have any success showing the file, or perhaps you can just come and read the paper, if you'd like. I asked Donna, and I'd like to introduce Donna, the president of the Pan Pacific University in the Philippines. I'm just going to check if I did get the file. I have it. Okay, I will read it for you. Oh, no, sorry, I won't read it, I'll show it. I'll put it on the screen. And I'm also going to share on this Skype for people as well. Let me just start the screen sharing. Thank you, Donna. Would you like to, shall I scroll, or would you like to? Maybe you face the camera there and you face the audience, and I will scroll according to your words. Okay.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I am Donna Padilla from Pan Pacific University. This is my paper, Culture of Peace in the University. A university naturally exists as a free space for plural voices and perspectives to coexist. It is a safe place that tolerates differing views as it pursues common and shared goals for the truth. It is total, in the sense that it is accommodating as well as nourishing. Similarly, discussions of peace vary across frameworks and concepts of peace. One only needs to listen to how one defines peace to know that it is based on differing meta-theoretical presuppositions. Nevertheless, it is worth asserting that matters of peace are better cultivated in the university. Providing a space that makes possible differing discussions of peace allows recognition as well as discourse to flourish. Traditionally, peace is understood as the absence of conflict, war, or discord. This idea, although accepted by many, gives us a very limited definition of peace. It puts peace at the other end of the spectrum. With conflict, war, and discord, it is on the other end of the spectrum. This is a limited understanding because it understands peace apart from war, conflict, or discord, although it is true that in war, we are all losers. Conflict and discord does not always result in war. Tensions such as these can also lead us to growth. They are like two sides of a coin. This constitutes the philosopher Hegel's tension between thesis and antithesis that somehow leads to a synthesis. And as such, a recognition of conflict's natural component of or occurrence in any organization, that not excluding that of higher educational institutions. Arguing for the inevitability of conflict in learning institutions, I observed three specific situations which are constitutive in the construction of a university-wide culture of peace. First, peace is strongly associated with shared values. Peace is not simply a matter of discourse. I can provide the most brilliant treatise on peace, but does that not always translate to peace? Interestingly, wars are fought not just in the name of victory, but in the name of the ideals that fuel it, which is values. With shared values, people advocates, sustains, and reflects on peace. We can have different opinions, cultures, ideas, and the like, but at the core of it all is our shared values, based on universal ideals of respect for human life and dignity among others. I can disagree with your ideas, but never with your person. In the context of Pan Pacific University, we carry on our institutional DNA, the core values that reminds us of who we were then and now: pioneer, compassion, service, and truth, or PCST, the erstwhile name of our dear institution until it became Pan Pacific U in 2006. These core values do not just appear in our university's brochures, websites, or merchandise items. They are also seen and embedded in all that we do, including the university's sustainable efforts of promoting green practices and actualized by all members of the academic community. These efforts are then translated to various international rankings that recognize our continued practices as eco-literate citizens of the world. These values are also evident as we immerse ourselves in various partner communities during extension programs where we provide assistance, be it a literacy program, a clean and green activity, or a livelihood project. PCST are not only the brand of our ideal graduates, they are embedded in all that we do, from academics, research, as well as extension. Pioneer allows us to innovate means of making, as well as building peace in our communities by thinking outside conventional modes of doing and being. Compassion allows us to consider the perspective of others, not when they agree with ours, but precisely when they are different from ours. It allows us to recognize the universality of peaceful ideas and desires. Service teaches us that peace is a consequence of giving. We do not share only based on our extra, but from our very selves. And truth. Truth allows us to be who we are in our differences, because at the core of our identity remains the undeniable value of human life. This is the mark of authenticity, which makes peace possible. Sincerity. PCST, as our institutional DNA, makes possible the plurality of voices in our university, but also the recognition of each other's value. This is the context of peace to exist within us and with the community where our university proactively interacts. Second, peace happens through discourse. We always look at peace as a finished product and not as a process. On the contrary, it is a process and not a finished product. When we consider peacemaking and building, this never ends with a resolution. Peace is only good in as much as every member of the community is working for peace again. We go back to shared ideals. If we stop working for peace, then peace dies with it. John the 23rd says, if you want peace, then work for justice. Peace is not the mere absence of conflict. It includes the ongoing rectification of systems. This is why universities cannot stop innovating, learning, and serving. Because at the core of our being a university is the constant attempt to keep peace, to make peace, to build peace. By allowing people to unceasingly discourse with each other, regardless of their convictions, we are providing space where ideas are challenged and supported. It is like a thinking out of the box activity. We respond to violence not by responding the way we do. We respond to violence by going beyond usual ways of doing and by simply challenging ourselves to be more for our stakeholders, the students and employees alike. I think this makes peace is a way of life. Lastly, and it flows from the fact that peace is not a noun but a verb. Peace is imperfect. It is a complex yet multifaceted concept that we continuously reconstruct and discourse with on a daily basis. The tension keeps this discourse alive. This is where game theory makes all sense. The shared goal, the increasing difficulty, and the unlimited number of chances. Consensus and conflict both coexist, and we cannot discard the other to emphasize the other. In our context, we encounter conflicts in terms of creating administrative decisions, allocating resources, maintaining academic integrity, and in sustaining community relations. These conflicts, however, help us to craft policies, regulations, and decisions that are collective, logical, and democratic. These conflicts allow us to reflect and to be better decision makers for our faculty, students, parents, and the other stakeholders. Hence, conflict and consensus should coexist in order to craft needs-based decisions for all. That being the case, peace remains to be the goal. To make universities that are peaceful is to always challenge our notions of peace. It is always imperfect, and as such, something everybody must constantly work on. This is the work of pedagogy, andragogy for those who are old, to keep our students aiming at what is the common good, the shared good, and the ultimate good. To summarize, peace is about sharing values. It is the shared ideals that make people work for peace, especially during difficult times. Peace is a process. While we work for it and on it, we know that we shall never attain peace. Peace is always elusive, and as such, something we need to constantly work on. Lastly, peace is imperfect. This means that we must constantly constantly challenge our notions of peace in order to transcend them and overcome them. We always go beyond. It is my firm conviction that the university is the most appropriate space to plant the seeds for this to happen. We might not always be perfect examples of it, but shared values, discourse, and empowerment are part of the university's coordinated effort. I can only hope to remain true to this mandate. Pan-Pacific University hopes to lead the way for peace within us, with our community, and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the screen sharing and invite any questions. Who would like to ask some questions or comments? Others here for instance. I'll start with one. One of the functions of a university is development of skills for critical discourse. What happens when, how do we teach and how do you teach a peaceful critical discourse with radical groups in the university? And this is a theme which later today Notes is going to explore from Brazil, which may be interesting too. But how do you do it if you have radical groups?
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. We are just so lucky that we do not have radical students in our university because at the beginning, we always have the policies that they follow once they are admitted in the university. So every now and then there's a follow-up inside and outside the classroom. So we are just glad that we do not have those kind of students for now.
So are we missing something if we construct a university without the critical voice?
They
What do you
do
think?
have, but we do it in a democratic way. We resolve it in a democratic way and listen to every voice that they tell us. Yeah, we listen to them.
It's been very fascinating to be living in the United States during this Israel-Palestine war. I use the term Palestine on purpose, it's not just Gaza, I think. And so, because the strong voices of both sides, and often it created issues. Yeah, you remember the president of Harvard University, the first African-American woman president, had to resign because she's trying to be too academic in Congress. And they just wanted a very clear answer from the Jewish lobby sort of side. And the same, the president of Pennsylvania State. So sometimes it's the difficult, because ideally university, as you say, should be the forum for discussion.
Yes.
But when it becomes politicized, it can be difficult in this case. Any other comments or reflections, anyone? Maybe some Americans can explain this to me, how this can happen, because it seems a rather sad situation. And the other response, maybe you have a strong student code that you know to behave within these walls and you can't go outside, that I think we miss something when we do that as well. Scott?
I particularly like what you had to say about the fact that peace is a process and that it doesn't end. It's continuous. That you're going to have challenges that continue really forever. And things can be accomplished, things may be
process because you know that there's this very long conflict in the Mindanao area of the Philippines, at the southern part of the Philippines. There has been conflict ever since, and peace process has always been there, but in every elected president, they do continuously do peace talks. Until now, it has not been resolved yet. So I think that's why peace is a process. Yes. Yes, everywhere.
Angelica, go ahead. Use your speaking voice to stand up.
Thank you very much for that very excellent sharing of what peace is in a university context. So you said that the peace is a shared value. It happens through discourse, and that it is not perfect. It's not it's a verb, no?
Yes.
It's not a noun, it's a verb. So it needs, if it is a verb, you really need to take action. From the university context, like for example, your students, how do you encourage, your students to share their values, promote peace in your university, in terms of their, for example, extracurricular activities.
Thank you. In our university, our core values is included in our curriculum, and every activity that they have, we have this activity proposal, which also has the core values, and we also included the sustainable goals of the UN. So it's there. Once they ask for an activity, the proposal should have those core values and the UN sustainable goals in it. Yes. So it's embedded, it's included in every activity that they have.
Are they documented? And for example, every after the conduct of such events, do they, provide the reflections?
Yes.
And then, yes.
Yes, ma'am. They have reflection, and we do the evaluation every after activity that they have for us to improve more.
Thank you very much, Donna. Thank you. By the way, I'd like to also take the chance, so these three people who did not join the donut game before have joined. I'd like to welcome Nusrat. Would you welcome? So, Nusrat is from Australia, originally from Bangladesh.
Padilla. Hello everyone, this is Nusrat Chaudhary. I'm a PhD candidate of USN. So happy to join everyone. Happy to meet you after a long time.
Thank you. Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Morning everyone, this is Syed. I'm from Australia. I'm Lutheran husband. I'm just visiting, not for any particular professional, but in my profession, I'm engineer and currently working with one of the world's largest renewable provider as a head of IT. So I'm just, nice to see everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Nabi, please.
Hello, good morning
Bulgaria on the way so people can see your journey. Thank you. And another poet who will share later. Also on the side, welcome to Masama as well, who's joined. I'd like to go to the next presenter, please. We have two presenters before lunch. I think Summa is next.